This episode of Power Women of the Trades is also brought to you by Forrest Perry of Forrest Perry Digital Marketing. Want to generate more leads for your service business? Trust his team to deliver quality new customer leads and protect your brand online. Check out perrymarketing.com today.
Most businesses' online presence is boring, and by being boring, they're losing out on potential sales and customers. Being interesting and exciting is what draws customers in and gets them to buy from you. But it's hard to be interesting online when you're focused on running your business and taking care of your customers. It doesn't have to be this way. We have the key to unlocking the solution to your problem. Key Heart Marketing can help take your business from boring to brilliant on social media. We can vouch for them. They run our podcast socials. If you want to have a strong social media presence that allows customers to know, like, and trust you, connect with Key Heart Marketing at keyheartmarketing.com.
Hey everyone, this is Eric Thomas with Rival Digital, and I am proud to announce that we are the newest sponsor for the Power Women of the Trades podcast. We've been a big fan and supporter of the show for years, and we are just very excited and very honored for the opportunity to now be one of the podcast sponsors. So make sure you check out their page and subscribe to the podcast and listen in on wherever you get your podcast episodes from. Rival Digital is a full-service premier digital marketing agency for the home services industry. We offer everything from website design, search engine optimization, online advertising, public relations, and more. If you're interested in learning more about the services we offer for contractors just like yourself, head on over to rivaldigital.com, and we look forward to chatting with you.
Welcome to Power Women of the Trades podcast. This show is all about breaking barriers and changing the game. Our guests will feature some of today's most successful female entrepreneurs and other advocates of our industry as well. Because if there's one thing we know for sure, female-led entrepreneurship drives change on multiple levels. We want to empower women in the trade industry like you so you can maximize your potential, stay balanced, achieve long-term success, and claim ownership over your life. Let's get started.
Welcome back to Power Women of the Trades podcast with Cassie and Heather. Today we have Paige Knowles, which was formerly Plumber Paige, now All Trades Paige. And I am so excited about this episode because I'm ready to just like get all the convo, all the stuff, and then take it to the high school and just be like, listen and watch this because you have such a cool story. So welcome to the show, Paige.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I love your background. That's amazing.
Thank you.
This has been a long time coming. I think Kaylee reached out like in the spring and we just not got you booked. Like you are a busy lady.
Yeah. I'm excited to be here finally though. And you guys, I've been following for a while, so we made it happen.
Well, we're happy to have you here. Very excited to talk to you today.
Okay, so what I know about your story is you got into plumbing in high school in like a tech type program in your school.
Yep.
And then you had a mentor coach.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us that. I don't want to tell your story. You tell us.
Okay, I got it. So plumbing, I went to high school and I was a straight A kid. So tech school was kind of like out of the question for all these smart kids. But I really liked it and I wanted to go. So I'm like, listen, like if I sign all the paperwork, if I have my parents approve it, like I really want to go. And then coach, the instructor at this plumbing lab was like, I am all for having her. We want to encourage women to get into this trade and like, we will make it as welcoming as possible. No special treatment, but like, you're an equal and you're allowed in the trades. So he was really kind of that extra force that made me super comfortable getting into the trades for real. I thought I just wanted to go to tech school to learn how to work with my hands and because everybody dreams of owning a home at some point, right? So I thought I'll have some skills, and that was kind of the extent of my goals. But then through his encouragement for 4 years in high school and even after high school, I've just been so inspired and I just love being in the trades now. So he's been amazing.
And how long ago was that?
Yeah, so I graduated 2020, so it's been 5 years since I graduated, but then 4 years before that is when I met him.
Oh my
So
gosh,
is
I
it
think it's
crazy to
just
say that
great.
you might be in the plumbing industry almost 10 years?
Right? Isn't that
It's
crazy? It sounds insane to say because I just turned 23. To
Yeah.
say that I've been in it for like almost a decade doesn't even sound right.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like time flies, right?
Yeah.
I love that you mentioned that you were a straight A student and no one was taking you serious about like because there's so many people for so long have just said like our trades are just backups. They're backups for the not smart kids.
Yep.
And that's like so wrong, and like
Right?
plumbing specifically, like you should be knowing some math and some
Yeah.
like there's there's takes a certain level of skill here, like not just like work with your hands, but we're not just digging ditches every day, right? There's
Yeah.
like a lot of things happening and that you
Right.
need some knowledge for. So
All the trades. Like that's what keeps you safe. If someone does it wrong, like something could blow up, like you need to be smart to be doing the trades.
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
100%. And so I was also a straight A student, kind of
Mhm.
like you, graduated a long time ago, long before you. But I went to college like I was supposed to do
Right.
in the 90s and fell in love with the construction industry because the first job that I had while I was in college was in the trades.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it kind of turned my entire career path a different direction that I never would have expected.
I know, right? And it's just like everybody has their specialty too. And I loved working with my hands. As soon as I got into the trades and saw that that was an option for me, I'm like, there's no way I'm ever going to college. Like sitting in a classroom again? No, thank you. Like I do not want to do that. I did end up going to college for construction management and HVAC, but that's hands-on. We're in labs and
Mhm.
preparing myself for the workforce.
Much more fun than sitting in a chem lab.
Right.
So you went through like your school had a co-op program, right?
Yeah.
That's a common, like it's becoming more and more of a thing around in our area. In Oklahoma, we've always had trade schools, but not that specifically that were, well, okay. When I was in high school, I could go to a tech school while I was in high school. Now we have a lot of like lab, like co-op programs in the high school that high school is teaching. So that's really cool that you had that opportunity. So then you, you did that for 4 years of high school. And then after that, you decided to go to college.
Yeah, I took a year off because I really didn't expect to be going to college. But during that year where I was like, what am I doing with my life? It was convenient because COVID happened. So everyone was kind of trapped at home and I could have worked, but I decided to stay home. And I was like, what do I want to do? Like, I thought I would just be a master plumber and that was it. But like, I have a story to share and it's kind of uncommon to be a girl and like, let me like work on this. What should I do? So I started writing books and I enrolled for a bunch of scholarships. And so with a construction management degree, that teacher met me at a construction camp. So I already was part of the camp and he was like, hey, just come.
Yeah.
And I did. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of how I got into college. I still didn't really expect for that to happen. But with the scholarships that I won and meeting him, I'm like, okay, that sounds like a decent path, like a good next step. Who knows?
Right. So you went through all that. Now, what are you doing today?
Yeah. I work as a commercial service HVAC technician part-time, and a lot of my other time I spend speaking at events, going to different trade shows, writing more books, creating videos. I kind of do like a little bit of everything just to inspire the next generation to explore the skilled trade careers.
I love that so much. So you've really like leveraged everything that you've learned to spin it in such a positive way. And I know that when I first heard of you, I was at some event, and I think I got a book. So tell us about your books.
Yeah. So I have 3 books out right now, and I have a lot more in the works. So they're really exciting. The first 3 I illustrated by myself. So I had no clue what I was doing and I just was drawing these on my phone and somehow they are, published like actual books that you can buy now. So I had no idea what I was doing for the first 3. But now I've taken it a lot more seriously and we're expanding the reach. Instead of just Plumber Paige, we're going to be touching a bunch of different trades and encouraging kids that they can explore the systems in their homes and understand how they work and talk about the skilled trade careers at an earlier age. Because I think if it's just talked about earlier, like being a doctor is, or, you know, all these other superhero jobs, just talk about it. And then you can see if the trades is something that you actually would want to get into later on.
And I think, you know, it's getting better now, but this isn't something that was ever talked about. Like you said, like, you know, is doctor, lawyer, teacher, nurse, you know, that's what we've heard the last 30 years. And the trades are becoming more and more out in the open where people are seeing it as an option. But like, if the people that came to your school had never come to your school, you would never have known.
Correct.
I feel that same way. I mean, nobody in my high school ever came and talked to me about the trades. I didn't even really realize that was an option. If I had my career to do over again, I would love to go back and be an electrician. I'm just too far into, you know, my career path as it is, still in the trades, but more administratively. So I think those books are fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just to start the conversation.
First of all, I want to say right now that Heather and I, the podcast, we have sponsors, but which we really appreciate all of our sponsors. And I want it right now, Heather, I want to buy a set of the books for all of the kindergarten classes at Glenpool schools and a school where Heather's at.
I would love to as well. There's our local elementary school. I would love to do that.
I'm going to tell you right now that we're going to do that. And I'm going to encourage everyone who's listening. If you're listening, we'll make sure at the end of this, it gives me goosies. Let's do that. Me too. Let's do that for our future. Let's do that for the future of our space. Go. I have no clue how much these are. I know I have 10 elementary or kindergarten classes at this school, and I'm just looking at 30 books. And I'm telling you, I will purchase those right now on behalf of Power Women of the Trades. I'll put a sponsorship in there for them. But let's just, that's something right now. We have these books at our fingertips that Paige has created to show these kids what's possible. And she's illustrated them. And I'm going to cry.
I want to actually, you know what? We have so many listeners around the country and, you know, some out of the country. I would challenge our listeners, buy a set of these books for your local kindergarten class.
Mm-hmm. Even if it's just one set
out there,
maybe it's not every class, just one set. Some little girl's going to see that, and that's Paige. Oh, so proud of you! Thank
you so much.
And to know you illustrated that, I had no clue till you said that. My jaw dropped. Like, first of all, if you drew me, my extent of drawing is like a triangle.
Girl, you should see the first book.
That's amazing.
Can you show what are the names of the books? Which ones have so far?
So the first one is Let's Replace a Showerhead. I think it's reversed for you guys. I'm so sorry.
No, it's not. It's good.
Okay. And then the next one is Let's Fix a Running Toilet. And then the last
I love
one
those.
Is Let's Snake a Drain. So they're literally just like step by step, almost like an instruction manual, but also like storytelling why it's important, you know? Mm-hmm. And these are things that kids can do literally at home with assistance from their parents.
Yeah, but it's like you don't realize, and especially in this generation, I have 6 children. I have our oldest is 25 and our youngest is 9. But 4 of our oldest are all adults. Yeah. And as they adult, even with them, several of them working in our business, as they adult, there are things that often I think to myself like, crap, how did we not teach you this? You know, because the world evolved so quickly that the things that we would have learned, like I learned in school, maybe wasn't taught anymore. Or, you know, and it's just sometimes just basic things.
Yeah.
And right. No one ever taught me how to snake a drain. Okay. But, you know, I used to be on my hands and knees when I was a kid, pulling my hair out of the shower.
I want a little girl to hear one of these stories at the elementary school. And when she goes home at night, you know, tell her parents, you know, that they say, you know, what did you learn in school today, Lucy? And I learned how to change the flange in the toilet.
What is that? I've had stories like that before where kids go home and tell their parents, like, maybe the trades is something I want to get into. Like, I get messages all the time on social media, like, thank you for opening my mind to all of the different possibilities. And that's exactly why I do what I do. It makes me so happy to hear that feedback.
What an incredible story too. Like you in high school, I'm just like painting it, seeing it in my head, right? Like in high school, first of all, how profound was Coach in this? Do you think if you had not had him, it would have gone the way?
Well, so I'm very lucky. The school that I went to had very supportive staff everywhere. So the teachers and basically every single trade was super supportive of women. I think that Coach was a very, very big part of making me feel comfortable in the industry. Yeah, if I had a teacher that said women didn't belong, I would have cried, went home the next day, pulled out of tech school and not done it. It really goes to show how important that support system is as well.
So it does, because I don't think people realize and how profound people's words are. I can tell you, and listen, I wish that I could just like go back and see who I was in like high school and show people, because a lot of people who know me now are like, how are you? Oh, it's so cute.
That's funny.
She planned
Sorry.
She planned that so she can hang a picture.
Yeah.
Listen.
You're fine. That's real life, girl. That's real life.
Oh gosh, sorry.
No, you're totally fine.
No, that was perfect. It was perfect.
Comedic timing, right? So
yeah.
I remember when I was in school, like I wish I could go back and like see who I was, because people who know me now are just like, how are you this person? Because I was so closed off. I was so quiet. I was so shy. A lot of that was undiagnosed ADHD. And I recluse because I didn't know how to have my feelings, but that's a whole different ballgame. That's a different therapy session. Okay. But I remember, I graduated in 2003, and I remember my career counselor back then, I've said this story a million times, but when I see her now, she's like, remember, you were going to be a dentist. And I'm like, right, because like those were what you guys were telling me my options were.
Yeah.
And so I applied for dental assisting school because I thought, or through the trades program. Okay. And back then it was very hard to get in anything trades because the classes were so small. And I didn't get in, and I was just like, okay. So I paid for myself to go into that after, because I was like, I need to make sure I like it. Turns out I don't. People's mouths are disgusting, which now here's the irony. I own a plumbing company. Okay, so
disgusting.
But yeah. Okay. But I remember thinking back, and God loved them. I love all of my former educators, and but no one was telling me and there was any options like this out there. And I remember in the 2010s, before in the 2000s, when I was trying to get a job, it was like I couldn't find a job because I didn't know everything. When we post a dispatcher position, whenever the original dispatch position job description that I got on Google said I needed a bachelor's degree. No, I don't. We don't need a bachelor's degree, because all of this stuff it's what we're teaching. Anyways, it's just crazy to me how I'm so thankful it's evolved in those conversations, and you've had people, but want conversations with your teachers and your coaches can really change you for the rest of your life.
For sure. Yeah, so the tech school was a separate school from my sending school where I learned my academics, and God love them. They were trying to do what was best for me, but they didn't think that the trades were what's best for me. And they told me all these other options, and they didn't even tell me that like the trades were an option. I found that on my own because my parents would hire a plumber and he would charge however much to snake a drain. I'm like, I could snake a drain. I want that money, Right. So like, yeah, it's just the conversations that happen at home and at schools. Because even if the schools are becoming way more accepting of the trades and they're telling kids that these are options, but then the kids go home and the parents are like, oh, there's a stigma around that. That's not safe. Don't do that, And
but there isn't anymore. We're changing that. I think the trades as a whole, and then, that now that there's more women in this space, we're changing that.
And you're sending school, like I wrote this down as you were talking, the things that they probably saw for you are the additional things you're doing. The author, the advocate, the speaker. But you had to find your path to get there, right?
Yeah.
And they weren't always maybe using all of the thought process, because we just think like, okay, I remember talking to someone else on another episode, but about them saying that they wanted to be a author when they grew up, but now they're here. But like, have you spun that and become an author? Like, there's so much that our space needs to be able to understand, because we're not like plan B. Like, if we don't have tradespeople, this country does not function.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
In all pieces. We won't have homes. We don't have running water. We don't have electricity. We don't have heating and air. And heating and air isn't really a luxury anymore. People can't live without it.
Right.
We're accustomed to it. You know, we think, oh, well, in the early 1900s, we didn't have heat and air. You're correct. But we are accustomed to it now. And now we do. And we're accustomed to it. And our bodies are accustomed to it. And when we go without, people die.
Well, in plumbing, especially, you cannot survive without potable water.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so these are essential services. And I love that the demographic of the trades is changing within our society, because I mean, I was super happy. My son graduated from high school 2 years ago, and at their last wrestling meet, all of the seniors got to say what they were doing. And I was so proud that more than half of them were choosing trade-based careers.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, because we're finally seeing the need and the gap, because all these people are retiring and nobody's replacing them. They're going to get paid a lot of money going into that field.
You were still in high school when, you know, we were talking about the shortage in the trades, the tradesman shortage, because there was that huge 20-year plus or minus span of time where everybody in high school was told you have to go to college.
Yeah.
You know, which college are you applying to? Nobody was going into the trades. So we have this gap of retiring tradesmen, and there weren't enough coming in. And this was like started around like 2014, 2015, when we really started talking about it. And, you know, it was kind of talked about as almost a means of desperation within the business owners. Like, we can't find people. We've heard that for years. And now we're starting to see that kind of narrative flip.
How we've been able to, like, I remember all the time. I just got to check myself sometimes I'm like, girl, find new words. But 10 years ago, I was at a school board meeting locally, and I stood up and was speaking specifically about changing the narrative with our students in high school and getting to see that 10 years down the road. Right. And like you yourself, you've probably seen the changes in the last 10 years, girl, that you've been in the trade, that, you know, the changes that I've had. So I know, like, you were on a couple other podcasts, and in one of them you mentioned social media is where you're going to reach the next generation. And that's true. Social media, specifically your generation, you are a Gen Z, right?
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
I forget what they are. You're Gen Z, and your generation is on social media. Right.
Yeah,
and then,
all the time.
But then
nonstop.
Next generation, you know, I have a 9-year-old daughter, and I know that she's trying like heck to get on anything that I'll let her on, you know, and she got banned on TikTok because she's not old enough. And so anyways, that's a whole thing. She got banned because she's not old enough. So she wants to use mine. And I'm like, you're messing up my algorithms. I don't want to see this. But they're on social media, hopefully safely. Right. So what are you doing to reach those kids?
Yeah, I'm creating content constantly, sometimes partnering with different organizations and companies and just other influencers in the trades to show what a day in the life is like when you're working in the trades, to show maybe some of the obstacles you might have to go through, and just like have those conversations about the trades and kind of make them cool again, because for a while they weren't, but they were at some point very cool. And this is a job that should be celebrated, you know? So just getting it out there again and seen more, because it just wasn't seen enough as I was growing up. So just getting it talked about and covered on anywhere that people are watching.
Leslie was my former co-host on the podcast, and she used to always say, they own a plumbing company in Oklahoma City, and she would always say that she was working on bringing sexy back to plumbing, and everyone would be like, plumbing was never sexy. Okay, but it should be.
Right?
It should be. You know what I mean? Because like we really need the water and all the options that, you know, we're working with here. We rely on them. And so what type of conversations do you get from, you know, I can just imagine just from the conversations that we get in our social media inboxes. Are you reaching young kids that are just like, tell me more?
Yeah, so I don't have the kids reaching out to me directly unless I'm like speaking at schools or something and they talk to me one-on-one.
Right.
I have a lot of parents messaging me all the time about what their kids have said, the books that they read together, the projects that they do together. I get so many pictures of kids being involved, and I like get to see it in real life with the construction camp that I help run and everything. It's so empowering, and it's like it warms my heart to see everything that they are doing to like keep it cool.
Yeah.
Well, and you're a huge part of that. And so you've got to be proud of the strides that you've made to bring awareness to this opportunity for
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying. It's never enough for me. Maybe that's something I need to go to therapy about, but like I'm like, great. If I got 10 kids in, that's awesome. Let's get 100 next. You know, like I always want to do more. How can I improve it better? Because reflecting all the time on podcasts and stuff like this, how would I have felt more supported? How can I support the next generation so that they don't have to go through what I went through?
I call that high achiever syndrome. When you
Yes.
get a taste of something, you want more and more and more and more, and you're constantly chasing it, and it's never enough. And then there's people that are going to tell you to slow down, and never slow down, girl. There's so many times I've been told to slow down, or I've been told I couldn't do something, and it will literally just make me work harder.
I agree. But it's good to be passionate about something too. And we're like passionate about a good thing. So
well, you're driven, and the ambition that you've set out for yourself is not a bad thing. You know, not being satisfied is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
When you're, you know, when it's directed in the right
direction, right?
In the right direction.
If we're, you know, super passionate about martinis or something, we might need to slow down.
Right,
you know,
slow down there.
I'm like, what should I say?
But about a mission like that is so near and dear to your heart, and the story that you have to tell.
Yeah.
There's no wonder it's not enough, because until you reach every kid, you're going to be driven to continue the passion of spreading the word about the trades.
Right. I want Plumber Paige to be a household name. I want everyone to have one of these books. And bringing it back to your guys' sponsorship idea, I will more than happily discount these for you so you can buy them in bulk. I love that idea so much, and that's exactly the mission that we're going for.
Maybe we can get a code, and that from the podcast, so you can track it too, because we always want to track an ROI. Everyone knows that, right? And maybe we could get a code that that they could purchase, and that you would know that came from maybe the podcast. But my hope is that people listening or just hear the joy that's in your voice. I can feel that with you. I know the visuals will be so cool for these kids.
Yeah.
And I have a really good relationship with our local school, and I'm excited to message them and tell them what's coming, and they will be so excited.
I'm so excited.
And you know, it's just, there's so many things, like my brain spins constantly. There's so many cool things that I know you're doing with this. So one other thing I noticed in your notes, well, I guess two other things. One was, so you competed in the Skills USA.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So in high school, Skills USA is like a huge thing, or it was when I was in school. It still feels like it's a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah.
I saw my my classmates who were the grade or two older than me competing in it, being a part of it, going to meetings. I'm like, that's cool, and I need to be the best. So let's get involved. I became president at the school, and I competed with some of my classmates to get to be in the actual competition, because you can only send one person from your school. So I got selected by coach, and he sent me off to districts competition, where I won first place my junior year. And then I got to go to states junior year, and I got second place. And then senior year, I'm like, okay, now I'm working in the field. Now I have so much more skill. I literally read the code book over the summer. I knew what I was doing. I was like, for sure, going to nationals, let's get my passport so we can go to worlds. Like, this is serious, and I need to be the best. Senior year was COVID, so all of the competitions got canceled, and I couldn't do it. I know.
Oh my gosh.
My younger sister followed suit into the plumbing lab after me. So I had a year with her to train her. And then over COVID, I would do as much as I could to train her. And then when they finally went back to school, she competed, and she got to go to nationals. So That was like my
that's
redemption.
That's amazing.
That's really awesome.
And you inspired even your sister to get into the trade also.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. You're so cool. Let's be besties. I love this for you.
Thank you.
So cool. So then, okay. And then you have partnerships with like Lowe's and Home Depot.
I have worked with both of them. Yeah.
Yes.
Skills USA and Lowe's did a signing day event in Chicago. Chicago's the one I went to. They did like 5 or 6 different locations. And it's kind of, they had the blue carpet to celebrate these kids who were committing, instead of committing to college or sports teams, they were committing to like working in the trades. And so they got to be celebrated on the blue carpet. And that was really cool. And I got to speak there. And then Home Depot has done a post and some Path to Pro stuff with me. And then 3M made a documentary called Skilled. So I've partnered with some really big brands to do some really cool outreach stuff.
And so young. You have done so much at such a young age. I cannot even wait to watch the rest of your life unfold.
Thank you. I hope it continues to be this successful.
It will be, because you've got the passion and the desire and the you're pushing and pushing and pushing, and that's what you will be a household name in our space. I promise you that. I just can tell you right now what I know and what I've learned through the trades. And Heather and I have become somewhat names in our space, and we are not doing anything as cool as you are right now. So
definitely. No, and you know what I would love? I would love to put a Power Women of the Trades podcast stickers with those books when we give them to the schools.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, what kids don't love stickers?
Yeah. That's so cool. Like, I am so excited for you. What do you see? How are you expanding All Trades Paige?
Yeah. So like the future questions always scared me. It terrified me because like, I don't know, I'm just doing one thing at a time, right? But I finally have a clear mission, and I transitioned to All Trades Paige, which I totally expected to have some feedback, because Plumber Paige is like, it's perfect, right? Yeah. But I'm working in HVAC now, and I have electrician friends, and I keep learning more about a whole bunch of trades. And I want to encourage people to get into all of it, not just one specific field, because it's all necessary. So All Trades Paige is my attempt to do that. I kind of want to be like the female Mike Rowe, and we'll talk about any and all of those dirty jobs, you know? Yeah. So that's
I love that you said that, because he's one of my big people that I have loved watching what he's done.
Super respected in the industry. Yeah. So that's kind of my goal. And I can be a young girl who does it, because the trades aren't limited by anything.
No, absolutely not. And I love too that you said like the future questions, because for so long and still now people will say, so Cassie, what's next? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to live today. You know, like honestly, like most of the time that's my answer. I don't know.
Well,
guys.
And honestly, Paige, what's next will present itself to you before you even know it. You'll come up with an idea, you'll see something, you'll have an interaction. One of my mentors once said to me, like, every interaction is an opportunity for something.
Right.
Maybe just an opportunity for a conversation, maybe an opportunity to, help somebody. Every interaction is an opportunity.
For sure. I wouldn't be where I am without every single interaction with the construction camps, with my teachers, different mentors, and, getting into different trades. It all happens one kind of random step at a time.
Yeah. And I'm sure, sometimes, especially as she's like, and we're done.
She's done.
So pretty. Did you draw them?
Yeah.
I knew you drew them, and I think they're amazing. I want my own set.
Thank you. I need to figure out a way to hang them, because they're heavy. They keep falling.
And they're great. But I think, with high achievers, as I say, we are often bad at celebrating the win that we've had, because by the time we make a goal and then we hit that goal, we've already changed the goal 10 times.
Yeah, right.
And so when we hit that goal, it's like, okay, well, that wasn't anything, right?
I knew I would do that. Yeah.
I knew I'd do that, but then I didn't celebrate that, and I'll be like, oh, and I've changed the goal 15 times, which is
That's so true.
And what you're doing and you're going to keep doing, but don't forget in the quiet moments to sit down and be like, yo, girl, I got this. I did this.
Even track the timeline, because halfway through a goal, you set one goal, and halfway through that, you've already come up with 3 more goals.
Right.
Exactly. So you set your eye on that prize, and Cassie's
I think
completely
podcasts
right
and stuff
there.
like this really help me kind of reflect. I walk away from these like, oh, they're proud of me. I should be proud of myself. You know?
You should be proud of yourself.
You should be.
Absolutely.
But
Thank
there's
you.
something in us that I'm telling you, I can relate to you on that so bad, so big, like, because I can do a million things great today, but only focus on the one that didn't go great.
Yeah, my
And-
illustrations. Oh,
Yeah.
like
Right. You know,
Yeah.
like you are, this podcast has been amazing and so good, but when you get off here, you're going to be so frustrated about those pictures, and that's nothing. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but we do that to ourselves, and we don't always reflect on everything. The other day I was looking for a file, and I posted it on my personal Facebook, but it's not on my Instagram anymore because my son said it wasn't aesthetic, and I had to get rid of that. And I'm anyway, but I was looking for a totally different file, and I happened to find this graphic that I had made in the fall of 2018. That was my 2019 vision board for the company.
Nice.
And looking at it like stopped me in my tracks, because like the goal was 3.5 million in revenue, buying the 6th vehicle, which, pause for a second, the math doesn't totally math there, but kind of maybe it did, but I don't know how I thought that was happening. There were just a lot of things on there. And one of them was like, go book and go to the AHR Expo. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Girl, since then, we were invited, the podcast was invited to launch. This podcast was invited to launch at the AHR Expo in 2022. And so it's like, 2018 me, fall of 2018 me had no freaking clue what was possible, right?
Yeah.
But not one time have I sat down and been like, good job.
You did that.
Know?
Yeah. I'm celebrating you. I love this.
That's awesome. But had I not been able to reflect that was one time the goal,
right?
Like it told me, I had the moment of like, dude, like everything's okay. It's going to be okay. It always works out. I always figure it out. This, because there's times that it gets tough, or you get to a pivot or a point that you have to make decisions, or you're doing this. And we forget to celebrate those big wins of what like the small goal was 5 years ago.
Yeah. And you manifested it, I'm sure. Because if you didn't put in that work, that wouldn't have happened. You really you decided that that's what was going to happen, and maybe that wasn't your only goal, but you did that, and I'm so proud of you. That's amazing.
Well, thank you. But I want you to take that too, of like go back of all those little goals, and like give yourself a high five. And I can see just from the stuff that you've done in the past few years that I've seen you on Instagram. I'm sure that you have a very similar story. In 2019, did Paige think that you would be doing what you're doing today, working part-time because you're so busy speaking? It took us 6 months to get you on this podcast, girl.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's so, every single step has been unexpected and not really planned either, but that's the incredible thing about it. But like most people's plan B was my plan A, and now all their plan A is my plan B that I didn't even expect to be happening, and I'm doing,
And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. You had a dream, you set your eye on that dream, and then you've manifested that dream into something that is so much bigger than you probably ever even imagined at that first, like class that you went to.
Yeah. I literally wrote down the timestamp on that because we were pulling that and headlining it. Everyone's plan B was my plan A.
I love that.
Heck yes. Like that is amazing. Like, and stand firm in in that. Like you say it with such authority of like, this was what I was meant to do.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm just like,
you guys are amazing. I love this.
I feel like I'm like, I need to hug you. I'm so proud of you. All right. Well, it's been so cool. I feel like I could talk to you for the rest of the day. I know that our listeners, I can already like, we get messages all the time, but I already know a few of our like dedicated every episode listeners that are going to hear this and like be hyped up and so excited for you. Awesome. So do not be shocked when you start getting some inbox messages from our crew ready. And again, let's make sure that our marketing team, Kaylee, puts that out. That's our challenge, Heather and Cassie's challenge, as to at least buy one set of books and take it to your local elementary school and get it in the library. Maybe it doesn't go to every class. Maybe it just goes to the library to get checked out. But let's get these books in as many schools as we can. And super proud of what you're doing in our space. And thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Paige. This has just been an amazing conversation, just hearing your story.
I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. And it's people like you who keep spreading the story is why we are able to succeed at, making it more accessible.
For sure. Well, I hope we can catch up with you somewhere down the road in person somewhere. We'll be sure to watch your website for where you're going to be. I know, like I said, it took us 6 months to get you on the show. So I know you are busy, and we'll hopefully have lots of opportunities to do that. And if you ever need anything, reach out, and we'll be sure to include all of your contact information in our show notes. And good luck in the future, girl.
This has been Power Women of the Trades. Like what you hear so far? Leave us a review at Apple. And make sure to listen to our other episodes wherever you enjoy listening to your podcasts. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.